So here's something wild. A 40-year-old man today has roughly 20 to 30% less testosterone than his father did at the same age. And this isn't slowing down. Average testosterone levels have been declining at a rate of about 1.2% per year since the late 1980s, independent of aging. Mean testosterone in young American men dropped from about 605 nanograms per deciliter in 1999 to around 425 by 2012. That is a 30% drop in 13 years. So it makes sense that more guys are looking for solutions. Testosterone prescriptions in the US jumped from 7.3 million in 2019 to over 11 million by 2024. The fastest growing group, men aged 35 to 44, prime reproductive years. But here's the problem. Nobody is talking about loudly enough. If you're a man of reproductive age and you ever want to have kids, jumping straight onto traditional TRT could be one of the biggest mistakes that you make. And let me explain why, and more importantly, what you can actually do instead. Your body has this elegant feedback system called the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis. Think of it like a thermostat. Your brain constantly checks testosterone levels, and when they're low, it sends two key hormones, luteinizing hormone, LH, and follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, down to your testicles. Those signals do two critical things simultaneously. They tell your testes to make testosterone, and they tell your testes to make sperm. Both processes driven by the same signals running in parallel. Now, here's the problem with TRT. When you inject testosterone from the outside, your brain sees those high levels and thinks, we're good. No need to send any more signals. So it shuts down LH and FSH production. And when those things go quiet, your testicles essentially go to sleep. They shrink. They stop making sperm. One paper put it bluntly, and this is literally the title: testosterone is a contraceptive and should not be used in men who desire fertility. And the numbers are striking. Exogenous testosterone can suppress sperm counts to zero, complete azoospermia, in about 65% of men within just 4 months. 4 months! On the recovery side, only 67% of men who stopped TRT reached a normal sperm concentration of 20 million per milliliter by 6 months. At 12 months, that climbed to about 90%. Full 100% recovery didn't happen until the 24-month mark. And both age and duration of TRT use significantly predict how long that recovery takes. The older you are and the longer you've been on it, the harder it is to come back. So what does the American Urological Association, AUA, say? Their 2024 updated guidelines are crystal clear. Do not prescribe exogenous testosterone to men who are interested in current or future fertility. And that second part is key, future fertility. Even if kids aren't on your radar now, if there's a chance you might want to have them someday, traditional TRT is recommended to be off the table. Now, okay, so if your testosterone is legitimately low and about 38.7% of men aged 45 and older have total testosterone below 300 nanograms per deciliter, what do you actually do if you want to protect your fertility at the same time? There are real evidence-backed options most guys have never heard of. And let's go through it. Option 1, clomiphene citrate. You might know it as Clomid. Instead of bypassing your body's thermostat like TRT does, clomiphene works with it. It blocks estrogen's feedback signal at the brain level, which tricks your hypothalamus into cranking up the LH and FSH production. The result? Your own testicles ramp up both testosterone and sperm production naturally. Clomiphene has been shown to raise testosterone levels by an average of about 300 nanograms per deciliter in hypogonadal men who are preserving testicular volume and sperm counts. And here's where it gets really interesting. A meta-analysis looking at over 600 patients found that about 60% of men on clomiphene saw improved sperm concentration. Average sperm concentration went from about 14 million per milliliter before treatment to about 22 million during treatment, a 57% increase. Sperm motility improved by about 8 percentage points. And the pregnancy rate across studies averaged 17% during treatment. For guys who were told they couldn't conceive, that number is life-changing. All right, option number 2, HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin. HCG mimics LH directly, going straight to your testicles and saying, keep making testosterone. Because it's acting like LH rather than replacing the entire feedback loop, your testes stay active. A randomized study showing that HCG raised testosterone by an average of 245 nanograms per deciliter at 3 months. But the really powerful data? Using HCG-based combination therapy in men who had become azoospermic from testosterone use, 95.9% recover spermatogenesis. Average time to recovery was 4.6 months with a mean first sperm density of 22.6 million per milliliter. And here's a finding that should change practice. When you co-administer low-dose HCG alongside TRT from the start, 0 out of 26 patients became azoospermic. 0. And 9 of those 26 men actually contributed to a pregnancy during the follow-up period. Now, option 3, enclomiphene. It's the purified active isomer of clomiphene. Think of it as Clomit's cleaner, more targeted cousin. Same mechanism at the brain level, blocks estrogen feedback, boosts LH and FSH, but without some of the estrogenic side effects clomiphene can carry. A retrospective study comparing clomiphene and enclomiphene directly found promising results for enclomiphene with a potentially better side effect profile. It's a daily pill, simple. The data is still building, but this is one to watch. Now, I want to be straight with you. None of these are magic bullets. Clomiphene can cause mood changes or visual disturbances in a small number of men. HCG requires injections 2 to 3 times per week, and clomiphene isn't widely available through standard pharmacies yet. And all of them work best when you've been properly diagnosed through lab work, not because you felt sluggish and saw an ad on Instagram. Which brings me to the single most important takeaway. Before you do anything, before TRT, before Clomid, before HCG, get a proper workup. Morning testosterone drawn before 10 a.m., free testosterone, not just total, LH, FSH, estradiol, prolactin levels. And if kids are even a distant possibility, get a semen analysis as a baseline. That way, whatever path you choose, you've got a starting point to measure against. The bottom line, testosterone optimization and fertility preservation are not mutually exclusive. You do not have to choose one or the other, but you have to be smart about it. And the first step is knowing that traditional TRT, as effective as it can be for the right patient, is the wrong tool if you want to keep your options open. If this was helpful and you want more honest, evidence-based breakdowns on men's health, hit subscribe. I put out new videos every week, and I don't want you to miss the next one.